What's going on, everybody? C4 here, and we are back for another video because this happened. I made a tweet asking you guys what you thought. I have yet to click it because I was out and about. My kid's into Pokemon now. He's 3.5. So of course, being into Pokemon, I grew up when Pokemon just came out. I had to run out and get him some Pokemon cards. Saw this. I was like, I'll make a tweet and then I'll come do kind of a live reaction of what we're getting for an update of the hashtag Fix Madden franchise movement. I don't even really want to call it that anymore just because some people have kind of taken it to the extreme. I don't really want to be associated with the direction over the last week or so that Fix Madden franchise has kind of gone. I think it's really counterintuitive, and I think people are trying to hijack it, but this is good. The fact that we eventually got to this point is good, but I need to see what they talk about. And we're not here to talk about Sancho going to Man U from Dortmund because every other team that's not named Arsenal just tries to buy their titles. We're not talking about The Rock buying the XFL. We are talking about Madden franchise. So let's look at this. All right, I'm literally going to have to go through it with you guys because I have not read this yet. We have progress. We're going to talk about our franchise team. Madden has a live service. When I talk with devs, they always refer to this. This is definitely a big, I don't know if it's a marketing thing, but this is something that they stress anytime I ever talk to them is about Madden moving towards being a live service. High-level franchise commitments for Madden 21 and 22, and your involvement as the community. So our franchise team, we, changes for Madden 21 post-launch support, Madden 22 launch, and beyond. We are passionate franchise fans just like you, and we're placing some of our most passionate franchise voices to lead the creative path forward. Does that mean me? Is that me? But to this point, this is like one of the things that I always try to hammer home to people is that, you know, from the outside looking in, I'm just like, what are these people doing? Do they just put like a bunch of mutt guys in charge of franchise mode? But then when I go and meet these people, they're like, you know, oh yeah, man, I worked on NCAA. I did all this stuff. And it's just like, oh, so you know exactly what should go into a franchise mode. You definitely know where we're coming from, and you know what features need to be. And it's always just comes down to, you know, what gets on the cutting block, the direction, the creative direction of the game. Because the people that work there, they know what's going on. Like Swami. Who likes Swami's like one of the more longer one of the OGs, if you will, of franchise. He knows what franchise needs to be going on. He's been a YouTuber before he started working. So, you know, there's no way he doesn't know what should go into a franchise. It's just about what you can get in. So there's that. But what's that mean? And we're placing some of our most passionate franchise voices to lead the creative path. What does that mean? How do I get involved? Sign me up. Madden has a live service. So, I mean, this is pretty much talking about how they imported KO, and they're probably going to do it with the Yard, I assume, in Madden 21. But they're talking about how things can basically just get carried into the game. Big feature, maybe not big, but obviously Super Stay KO was a pretty sizable addition. But they're talking about how, you know, Madden will get updates through it's not just going to be patches and fixing bugs. They will add new content, which is definitely a direction I think Madden should be going. The Game UI launch day is only beginning. Our committee is delivering meaningful change throughout the year. In Madden 21, we'll spend our live to focus on the delivery of franchise improvements based on your feedback while continuing to evolve the broader game for a wide cross-section of Madden fans. Our current plans deliver the Madden 21 updates and 2 or 3 title updates over the course of the coming months. High level, so on this point, it was always one of the positives of last year. Madden 20 was the first year they started to kind of view it as a live service. When I talked to them, they're saying that they just have new hardware that can make this available to them. And obviously for franchise, I mean, I guess we got new X factors and stuff like that, new abilities. We got offensive line abilities came in. They updated some scenarios and stuff. I mean, it was okay. It wasn't something you could, overtly crap on, but it was, you know, there wasn't a lot there. The substance wasn't necessarily there. And the goddamn, what's going to go on Madden's gravestone, it feels like at this point, is like, it's laying the foundation for the future. That's what you say about almost anything that gets put into Madden. But again, another thing is live service. Man, you saw in Madden 20 how this could definitely become something that's pretty awesome for Madden. You know, you look at Call of Duty, you look at all these other games, GTAs, those are pretty much the only games I play anyways. But you constantly get, we'll get big maps, you get new maps, new guns, new missions, all this stuff updated throughout, you know, the game's life cycle. And that's something that sports games generally, outside of roster updates, haven't had. So the fact that Madden's going to go in this direction, that's good. Meat and potatoes, nice. high-level franchise commitments in Madden 21 and 22. Well, that whole right there is false. Because, you know, you can't go high-level franchise commitments. I mean, maybe recommitments? I don't know. Either way, let's read this. So, in the end, we're sharing some of the areas of franchise. But first acknowledge this work requires a lot of planning. So, while we can't commit to an exact timeline right now, which is, you know, would have been nice to get an idea, there's only so much you can do. We can share ideas where we're going to be targeting meaningful change in Madden 21 and beyond. We are targeting these based on your feedback from our social channels, our Game Changer program. You know who that is. You know who that is. You know who that is, baby. Let's see what we got. Tuning, improved progression and regression of players. Where did I hear that before? Okay, well, let's see. With each update, this list may shift our plans for Madden 21 and Madden 22. So basically, they're saying that they can't say if this is coming this year or next year, is how I assume this. But they're going to have tuning, improved progression and regression of players, which is something that absolutely needs to happen. Improve core player progression into the future, such as X factors and other abilities for older players to work well with incoming rookies. Okay. Commissioner tools. I don't know what that is. AI personnel management. AI will make better team management decisions in the draft, free agency, and trades. Playoff and Super Bowl presentation. I guess. I mean, I'll tell you right now, I honestly don't give a shit about the whole presentation stuff. I skip it anyways. So like, if we're going by priority, anything that's like presentation based, it's nice, but very much needs to be at the bottom, because that's just, it's like the whole, you know, not to throw anyone on, not to sound negative, overtly negative, but you polish a turd, it's still a turd. So let's work on Madden, still, you know, everything else that needs to get up, and then the presentation, the icing on top of this beautiful mode, hopefully, versus, you know, let's, you know, prioritizing presentation upgrades over the core franchise mechanics that need to get fixed. X Factor and Superstar ability customization. Introduce the ability to customize abilities on all players, allowing you to customize your roster as you fit. That absolutely should already kind of be in the game. I feel like that should actually be something that's fairly, I mean, again, if we view this here as the scope of, you know, post-launch support, this is stuff that has to come in a patch, right? So this is really good. Like, these are really good and realistic things that you would see in a patch. You're not going to get coaching carousel. You're not going to get completely different scouting mechanic. But things like this, I need to go back on this, the Super Bowl presentation and stuff like that. If that's something that comes in post-launch Madden 21, cool. So you throw in the X Factor, absolutely. Career stats, historical stat tracking. How long have we been asking for that? Trade logic. Yeah, retirement, playoffs update. Cool. You got the commissioner tools. I mean, again, that's a very small segment of the Madden franchise community, but definitely still a segment that needs your voice there. So commissioner tools make sense. A lot of people run on online leagues, and that's cool. So generally, if this is the stuff that, while they did kind of say Madden 21, Madden 22, if this is what we're going to be getting in Madden 21 post-launch support, or maybe before, right at launch, they give you a big patch you get to download as soon as you want to hop in the game. Tuning's a win. Anytime the AI is smarter is a win. X Factor customization is a win. Career stats is a win. Trade logic. I mean, this also feels like something that they tweak every year. I don't really know if I would necessarily put that in this list, because I'm pretty sure it's something they always try to say that they fix the logic. I remember it was from Madden 19 into 20, I think. That was a selling point that they want to talk about. But either way, this is realistically probably as good as we could get through patches for Madden 21 franchise. So then going into Madden 22. For Madden 22, it's still very early. They're at the beginning stages of planning and pre-production of next year's game. That being said, we've been actively discussing some areas that we like to focus on stemming from your feedback and player engagement. Here are a few of the areas. While not fully committed, we are exploring coaching and staff, so coaching carousel. Needs to be coaching carousel. You can't just half-ass say, here's your offensive and defensive coordinator. You need to be able to have that starting point. Literally, it's NCAA. Make NCAA level of coaching and staff management. Make it so when I log into Madden, I want to start my franchise day one. You can be the coach, you can be the player, you can be the owner, or you can start as an offensive or defensive coordinator. And then from that, when I pick that, that means, you know, if I'm a defensive coordinator, I only get involvement on the defensive plays. Versus, you know, same thing, offense, I'm only on offensive plays. And then you can work your way through that and adding in a skill tree. Skill tree, like you can't, this is something that we have to expect to relay the information to them. Because if we just say coaching and staff management, that could be minuscule. That could be super in-depth. You know what I'm saying? That's a broad feature right there. But the fact that that's a direction that they're going and want to go, I mean, it's one of those things. I don't want to overly pat them on the back because this is stuff we've been saying for years. But at least we have something here that we can reference for, you know, the future of Madden going forward, that they've said that they want to see these things. But I'm saying right now that if we're going through coaching and staff management, to give my opinion on that bullet point is we want NCAA levels of, I want to be a coaching character. I want to start as a coordinator. I want a specific skill tree that I can build and grow so that my franchise, my coaching style feels different. And it's how my team eventually, when I go on to become a head coach, will be shaped, and how my team will find success, because I spent all my points as an offensive coordinator working on the run game. And when I go to become a head coach, I want to have the best goddamn running team in the National Football League. So that's the direction they want to go. Scouting improvements. Yeah, you know, exactly. Scouting, you know, you don't have to make it insanely in-depth. I think when it comes to scouting, people talk about scouting, it almost comes down to Madden having a little bit of an identity crisis for a franchise mode, because they don't know, do you want to appeal to the casuals? Because the whole hit X 3 times to unveil the information, that is for the casuals, by all means. And if you give something that's super in-depth, something like to the extent of like the NHL scouting program, where you can have regional scouts and all that stuff, that technically could scare away newbie players. So I get maybe why Madden has been kind of hesitant to go that direction. But I think for almost anything that's going to be in-depth in this recommitted to franchise mode, you should just have an option, like in FIFA, where you can either make it very bare bones, you know, almost like the remember that mode that you used to have in Madden where you just straight up hit A? Like there's 4 buttons. It was for like brand new players. You should be able to have that option when you start your franchise mode. Do you want the difficulty to be beginner difficulty and everything's beginner? Your scouting's beginner level, you just keep what we have in Madden? Or do you want all Madden difficulty, where you're scouting, you have to have scouts, and you have to be way more hands-on and way more in-depth, so that you give your user an opportunity to pick what style and how they want to play their franchise mode? I feel like that's a pretty good middle ground between the direction of Madden wanting everything to be user-friendly for the newer players and having the options still available there for the hardcore guys like myself that want it to be as realistic as humanly possible. New scenario engine enhancements, by all means. Yeah, I mean, Deuce Douglas, I'm pretty sure, had a really good post on Operation Sports where people could leave their suggestions for what they want to see in scenarios. And people want realistic scenarios. Obviously, you're not going to, with, you know, the exclusivity and stuff, you're not going to want to step on toes by saying having, you know, failed drug tests and all that stuff, but have scenarios that greatly and gravely impact your franchise mode, where, you know, guys demand a trade right away, or someone, maybe there's an injury that you have to make a decision where if you want to rush them back from injury, that they don't want to play no more. They kind of pulls like a Kevin Durant. Remember when Kevin Durant got hurt in the playoffs and he came back for one game and then just completely shot his knee or something? Maybe something like that could burn bridges. Burning bridges. Just make the scenario engine essentially be more punishing. Make it so that, like, something that can get triggered in your scenario that happens in real life, like I said, your franchise player demanding a trade. Have stuff like that completely, in just a blink of an eye, will reshape your franchise. New team chemistry system. I personally don't think there's really an issue with the chemistry system right now, but sure, commissioner tool. That's something that I'm just not really sure of. The tools. I get that there's people that run a lot of online leagues that are going to be pumped by that, but I don't know. For me personally, that doesn't mean much. More content, relocation, and branding assets for franchise. New uniforms, names, logos, to relocation options for more variety. So I assume that means the cities are going to stay the same, but either way, hey, new relocation. I'll tell you right now, you can already expect a day one banger video of me sarcastically going through all the relocation teams in Madden 21. So we already know there's probably going to be nothing there, but that's cool. And then your involvement as a community. So that's where we're at. There's still a lot of work to be done here. These things will take time. Target time frame for our next communication update just before the NFL season kickoff in early September, where we hope to share more specifically through the road. We need a roadmap. A roadmap would be awesome. That's definitely the direction we need to go. There's a new Madden voice. That's the whole kind of thing that's going on now for you guys to give your feedback. But looking at this from the franchise side of things, you know, viewing it in levels, it's a good response. In terms of responses to everyone that's unhappy with franchise, this is as good as it probably could be, outside of them saying that, like, we've been reworking Madden franchise and we're getting these things at launch. this is about as good as it gets. And in terms of what we're going to be getting in Madden 21, if this is truly what they can follow through with, I mean, I'm trying to view this as, you know, go back in time. If we open up the Madden 21 franchise blog and they said this is what's going to be in Madden 21 franchise, I think people would be meh on it, because a lot of these things are still more so tweaking than new features, because features is the king, and features was the biggest issue, because I would argue none of these are new features. But I still think if this is what they came forward with in Madden 21, people would just be like, meh. There wouldn't have been really the outrage. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a okay to, you know, barely acceptable amount of updates for Madden 20. But the fact that, you know, they've kind of made their bed, they got to lay in it, they had the negative publicity, this is what they're going to be offering up as post-launch support. It's not that bad. It's honestly, I think, as good as you can get through patch updates. And the fact that now we can have kind of like this to hold them accountable, it's good, man. If you told me Madden 22 comes with coaching carousel, new scouting, and new relocation teams, that's a phenomenal. Like, what else? What did they miss? I guess would be the argument. Because you know, we're going back to this. We're going back to this. What can I tell them? What are we missing? What are some things that, like, on this? Like, I'm just, like I said, reacting to this live in the flesh. But I think that's almost as good as you can get for new features. So let me know what you guys feel about it in the comment section below. It's a win. This is a dub. No matter what, this is a dub. It shouldn't have come to this. It's probably not going to make things that much better for Madden 21, but it's something. It's better than, like, them just ignoring it and just going like, oh, this is, you know, it is what it is. Maybe we'll get you at Madden 22. We did enough as a community to get some stuff that's definitely going to improve the quality of life of Madden 21's franchise mode, and now we have at least some form of accountability for Madden 22 and going forward for the franchise mode. So I think it's good. Let me know what you guys feel about it in the comment section below. As always, first time stopping by, don't wait for you to hit that subscribe button, smash the like button if you enjoyed. Until next time, it's C4 saying peace